So here Anu refers to the smallest amount of time, which is indicated in the Bhagavatam as the time required for the sunlight to pass through a atom. That is called Paramanu time. In Sanskrit, atom is called as Paramanu. For the sunlight to pass through a atom, it is called Paramanu time. And for the time to pass through the entire lifespan of Brahma, that is called Param Mahan time. That is Bruhati time. The greatest time is that of from the beginning of the creation of the entire universe to the end of the entire creation. That is 100 years of Lord Brahma. So in between you can have so many divisions. The indivisible time is Paramanu time. The longest time is Param Mahan time. So in between, so there are so many divisions. That divisions are mentioned in the 11th chapter of the third canto. And then in the 14th verse, the 10th question is being asked. He says that Yasmin karma samvayo yata enopagruhyate gunanam guninam chaiva parinamam abhipsatam.
Then again, kindly describe how the proportionate accumulation of the reactions resulting from the different modes of material nature act upon the desiring living being, promoting or degrading him among the different species of life, beginning from the demigods down to the most insignificant creatures.
So here he asking basically, he's asking question that Yasmin karma samavayo. The people perform different variety of karmas according to their own inclination and desire. Yata enopa guryate. As per their inclination, as per desire to attain a particular profit, they perform various activities. Gunanam guninam chaiva parinamam abhishitam. I want to understand the activities performed by various people under the influence of three modes of material nature. What kind of destination they will get? What kind of form they will get? People in this material world, sometimes they some perform sinful activities, some perform sakama karma, some perform nishkama karma, some perform jnana, yoga and bhakti. And what will be the result of those activities? I want to know. So this is 10th question. And in the next verse, here the 11th question is asked. Bhupatala kakuvyoma graha nakshatra bhubrutham saris samudra dvipanam sambhavas chaitadak okasa.
O best of the Brahmanas, please do describe how the creation of the globes throughout the universe, the four directions of the heavens, the sky, the planets, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, and the islands, as well as their different kinds of inhabitants, take place.
So here, this answer to this question in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is basically asking that Sambhavas, please speak about the creation of the Bhu. Bhu refers to the Bhumandala. Patala refers to the lower 7 planetary systems. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala, Rasatala, Patala. Kakub. Kakub refers to the sky, the four sides of the heaven. Kakub means the directions. Basically, the Antariksha, the heavenly abodes, the Antariksha. Vyoma means the sky. Graha means all the planetary systems, all the planets. Nakshatra means all the constellations. Bhu Brutam, about all the mountains and the Bhuloka. Sarit, all the rivers. Samudra, all the oceans. Dvipanam, all the islands. Please speak about the creation of all these things, characteristics of all these things, facilities in all these places, and the people who are living in all these places. So, in one sense, Parikshit Maharaj is asking about the entire universe with its different divisions and different people and the facilities they have in those different places. So, this is the 11th question. Then he asks, Paramanam andakoshasya bahyabhyantara bedata mahantam chanucharitam varnashrama vinischaya.
Also, please describe the inner and outer space of the universe by specific divisions, as well as the character and the activities of the great souls, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the castes and orders of social life.
Hmm. So this verse describes two questions, 12 and 13. So Pramanam andakoshasya bahya abhyantara bedata. Can you please speak about the measurement of the universe inside the universal shell and outside the universal shell? This is one question. Mahatam Chanucharitam Varnashrama Vinishita. Can you also speak about the great souls, the characteristics of the great souls who, having perfected their Varnashrama duties, are established in the perfection? So that basically is asking. So to speak about the Varnashrama duties and also speak about the qualities of those who perfected their Varnashrama duties. So this is the next question in this verse. All the duties of different Varnashramas are mentioned in the 7th canto from chapter number 11 to 15. There, the different duties of different Varnas and different ashramas are mentioned very distinctly, very clearly. So in that way. Then, the question number 14th is asked in the verse number 17. Yugani yugamanam cha dharmo yascha yuge yuge avataраनुचरितं यद आश्रया यद आचार्य तमं हरे.
Please
Yeah.
explain all the different ages in the duration of the creation and also the duration of such ages. Also tell me about the different activities of the different incarnations of the Lord in different ages.
This is all about Yuga Avataras, Yugas and Yuga Avataras. Yugani Yuga Manam cha. Please speak about the 4 Yugas. Please speak about the time duration of the 4 Yugas. And please speak about the Dharma that is supposed to be followed in each and every Yuga. Cha Yuga Yuga. And please speak about the Yuga Avatara that appears during each Yuga, because the activities that Yuga Avatara performs are Acharyatamam, the most astonishing activities. Thus, I want to hear about all those activities of all Yuga Avataras. So this is all about Yuga Avataras. Next, 15th question is asked in the 18th verse. Pranam Sadarano Dharma Savishesha Sayadrusha Shreninam Rajarshinam Cha Dharma Krichreha Jivitam.
Please also explain what may generally be the common religious affiliations of human society, as well as their specific occupational duties in religion, the classification of the social orders, as well as the administrative royal orders, and the religious principles for one who may be in distress.
So here, Nranam Sadarano Dharma. Please speak about the Sadharana Dharma of all the human beings. There are so many dharmas for each and every living in this material world. But one dharma is general to everyone, common to everyone, that is bhakti. Here, Sadharana dharma refers to bhakti. So, he is asking that, please speak about that bhakti which can be practiced by any person in the entire world. Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abira Shumba Yavana Kashadaya. Ye Anyacha Papa Yadapashraya Ashraya Shuddhati Tasmai Prabhavishnave Namaha. So, bhakti is that process which can be practiced by any person in this world. Because for practicing jnana, person need to be sannyasi. For practicing yona, a person should be detached. For practicing karma, a person should be qualified person. So like that, various restrictions are there for practicing other dharmas, but for bhakti there are no restrictions. That's why it is called sadharana dharma, a general dharma for each and everyone. And also sa vishesha cha yadrusha, and also the speak about the specific dharmas that are given to the people as per their particular birth in a particular family. A person just by being born in a particular community will have special dharmas, special duties to perform. So speak about all those special duties for a particular person. Um, he gives an example. Shreni Nam, the dharma of the Vaishyas who have the Shreni of the land or Shreni of cows, etc. Who takes care of the land and cows? That person is called Vaishya. And Rajarshi Nam, the dharma of a Rajarshi. And Cha indicates the dharma of Brahmana and the dharma of Shudra, etc. The dharma of 4 varnas, please describe them. Dharma krichareshu jivitam. And also talk about apad dharma. When the normal dharma cannot be practiced during emergencies, what kind of apad dharma can be practiced? Please speak about that. So all these things are also discussed in 7th canto by Sri Narada Muni to Yudhishthira Maharaj in the last 5 chapters. Different dharmas of different people are mentioned there in that particular section. So this is the 15th question asked by Srila Parikshit Maharaj. Then the 19th verse. Tattvanam parisankyanam lakshanam yetu lakshanam purushad purusharadano vidir yogasya adhyatmikasya cha.
Kindly explain all about the elementary principles of creation, the number of such elementary principles, their causes and their development, and also the process of devotional service and the method of mystic powers.
So in this verse he asks 2 questions. One is about Sankhya. Please speak about Sankhya Yoga. Tattvanam parisankyanam lakshanam hetu lakshanam. That is basically he asks that. Please talk about different tattvas, basically the 24 elements, their qualities, characteristics, their cause and effects. All these things you speak about them in truth. So this answer is given in 3rd canto, chapter number 26. The 24 elements, their qualities, their cause and their effects are all mentioned in the teachings of Lord Kapila, by Lord Kapila to Mother Devahuti. And then Purusharadhana Vidir. What are the different rules and regulations of worship of the 3 Purushas? Karnadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and Kshirodaksha Vishnu. Yoga Radhana, Yoga Syadhyatmika Sacha. And please speak about that yoga process by which one can worship these 3 Purushas. Because by yoga process one worships the Paramatma. These 3 Purushas are considered to be Paramatma. So in that way, please speak about the mystic yoga process. So this is the second question in this verse. That there are 2 questions in this verse. 16th and 17th questions are asked in this verse. And in the verse number 20, there is 18th question. Yogeshwaraishwaryasya gatir linga bhagnastu yoginam vedopaveda dharmanam iti asa puranayo.
What are the opulences of the great mystics and what is their ultimate realization? How does the perfect mystic become detached from the subtle astral body? What is the basic knowledge of the Vedic literatures, including the branches of history and the supplementary Puranas?
So here one question. This is basically all about the yogis, the people who practice yoga. Yogeshwara Aishwarya Gatir. So please speak about the mystic siddhis obtained by all these yogis who practice yoga. The best of all the yogis is Yogeshwara is Lord Shiva. So what are all the different set of mystic siddhis obtained by all these yogis who practice yoga? And Linga Bhagnestu Yoginam. And also the describe about the liberation of the yogis by destroying their gross body and subtle body. The yogis attain perfection. So please speak about this process, how they attain liberation. And also speak about Veda Upaveda Dharmanam Itihasa Puranam. Please speak about the conclusion of the Vedas, Upavedas, and Itihasas and Puranas. So what is that dharma one was supposed to understand by reading Vedas, Upavedas, Itihasas and Dharma Puranas? That is basically the essence of all the scriptures is bhakti. So please speak about that bhakti which is practiced by these yogis, by which they attain mysticities and also liberation. So that is, this verse is all about Ashtanga Yoga process, which is supposed to be practiced by the yogis. The previous verse is about Sankhya Yoga, that is about Tattvanam Purushakyanam. This is basically about Sankhya Yoga, and this verse is about Ashtanga Yoga. Now, verse number 21. This is so in the verse number 20, there were two questions, 18th and 19th. One question is about Ashtanga Yogi's attainment of powers and attainment of liberation. The second question is about the dharma of supposed to be known by studying the Vedas, Upavedas, Puranas, Itihasas. Now in the verse number 21, the 20th question is asked. Samplava sarva bhutanam vikrama Samplava sarva bhutanam vikramapati sankramam ishta purtasya kamyanam trivargasya chayo vidu.
Please explain unto me how the living beings are generated, how they are maintained, and how they are annihilated. Tell me also of the advantages and disadvantages of discharging devotional service unto the Lord. What are the Vedic rituals and injunctions of the supplementary Vedic rites, and what are the procedures of religion, economic development, and sense satisfaction?
So in this verse, Parikshit Maharaj is asking the 20th question. He is asking that Samplava Sarva Bhutanam. Please speak about the deliverance of all the living entities in this world. In the previous verses, he asked about the deliverance of jnanis and deliverance of yogis. Now he is asking the deliverance of other people. That includes all the karmis and devotees, everyone. So how they get delivered from samsara. And Vikrama Prati Sankrama. Speak about the favorable and unfavorable circumstances of their respective processes. If somebody is practicing bhakti, what is favorable and what is unfavorable? If somebody is practicing Ashtanga Yoga or Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga, what are the different things that are favorable and unfavorable in their particular process by which they attain perfection? So that is what is indicated here. And then Ishta Purtasya Kamyanam Trivargasya Choyuvidu. So please speak about the rules and regulations that are practiced by the followers of the Vedas and also the followers of the Smartas. So those with a desire to fulfill their desires, Kamyanam, those people in order to fulfill their material desires, they follow the rules and regulations of the Vedas and also the Smarta scriptures. So please speak about those things. And also talk about the rules and regulations of Trai Vargasya, those people who are interested in Dharma, Artha, Kama, not in Moksha. The first two lines talks about the moksha, Sampalava refers to moksha, and the next two lines talks about for those people who are desiring to fulfill their desires by following Dharmartha Kama, and speak about various rules and regulations that are described in Vedas and the Smritis. So this is the 20th question asked by Parikshit Maharaj. So this also is described in 7th canto, last 5 chapters. So wherein Narada Muni talks about all the different people, performance of different activities, fulfillment of their desires. And also Lord Kapila describes in the 3rd canto, last 3 chapters, 30, 31, 32. In these 3 chapters, how different people by practicing various processes, specifically Nishkama Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, attain perfection or enter to Swarga and come back. So those things are mentioned in those chapters. So now, this is the last question asked by Parikshit Maharaj. This is the 21st question. Oh, no, not last but one. So then he says that Yo vanu sai nam sarga pashandasya cha sambhava atmano baddha mokshaucha vyavasthanam swarupita.
Please also explain how merged in the body of the Lord living beings are created and how the infields appear in the world. Also, please explain how how the unconditioned living entities exist.
So here is asking that, please speak about the appearance of all the variety of living entities at the time of Sarga, at the time of the primary creation, and also the birth of Pashandis. Pashandasya cha sambhava. How the Pashandis, how the atheists also take birth because of their various sinful activities. So please speak about that. Atmano bandha moksha vyavasthanam swarupata. And please speak about the reason for the bondage and the cause of liberation for the living entities who are living in this material world. So basically, please speak about various conditions in which a person is bound and a person is liberated. And also, Vyavasthanam Swarupata. Please speak about the characteristics of a bound soul and a liberated soul, a conditioned soul and a liberated soul. So all these things are basically described in the 11th canto in the Uddhava Gita. Lord Krishna elaborately describes about the qualities of a conditioned soul and qualities of a liberated soul. Anyway, Sarga is described in 3rd canto. The Pashandis are also described at various places, the atheistic people. This is the 21st question. And the 22nd question is asked in this last verse. Yatatmatantro Bhagavan Vikridati Atma Mayaya Visrujya Va Yata Mayam Udaste Sakshivad Vidu.
The independent personality of Godhead enjoys his pastimes by his internal potency, and at the time of annihilation gives them up to the external potency, and he remains a witness to it all.
So here there are 2 questions in this one verse only. One material question, one spiritual question. Yatatma Tantro Bhagavan Vikridati Atma Mayaya Visrujya Ya Yata Mayam Udaste Sakshivad Vidu. So I want to know how the Supreme Lord employs his Mahamaya in the matter of creation and maintenance, and then after annihilation of this material world, how he remains indifferent to all the activities of this entire world. This is one question. The same verse can also be taken as second question. I want to know about by the with the usage of his Yogamaya potency, Antargata Shakti, how Lord makes his manifestation in this world in various avatars, and also after performing his pastimes for a certain time, as if being indifferent to this world, he disappears from this world. So these are the 2 questions are hinted in this verse. One question is about the creation, maintenance and annihilation of this entire world and Lord being indifferent to this world. And second question, that is the activity with respect to Mahamaya, and the activities with respect to Yogamaya are the Lord appears now and then, making himself visible to the people of this world, performs wonderful pastimes and becomes invisible to the people of this world, as if he is indifferent to the people of this world. So Sakshivad or Udaste, Udasinavad or Sakshivad, he performs all these activities. Please speak about all these things. So thus in all these verses, Sukadeva Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj asked 22 questions, so that Sukadeva Goswami can continue to speak for the next 7 days. And after asking all these questions, in conclusion he says that Sarvam etaccha Bhagavan Pruchamo me nurupat anupurvasha Tatvato arhasi udahartum Prapannaya Mahamune.
O great sage, representative of the Lord, kindly satisfy my inquisitiveness in all that I have inquired from you, and all that I may not have inquired from you, from the very beginning of my questionings. Since I am a soul surrendered unto you, please impart full knowledge in this connection.
So here Parikshit Maharaj said that, so don't think that I have only asked 21 questions, you can answer 21 questions in an hour or 2 and go, not like that. Please speak about everything that is in connection to Lord Krishna, whether I have asked or not asked. So please continue to speak for next 7 days, because Prapannaya Mahamune, I am a soul surrendered on your lotus feet. And please speak everything in Tattva. Tattvato arhasi udahritam. Because I am eager to hear about all these things. That is my qualification. So please speak them in truth for the next 7 days. So this is thus he is inspiring Sukadeva Goswami to speak Krishna Katha. In the purport, the Prabhupada writes, the spiritual master is always prepared to impart knowledge to the disciple, and specifically when the disciple is very inquisitive. Inquisitiveness on the part of a disciple is greatly necessary for the progressive disciple. Maharaj Parikshit is a typical disciple because he is perfectly inquisitive. If one is not very inquisitive about self-realization, one need not approach a spiritual master simply to make a show of discipleship. Not only is Maharaj Parikshit inquisitive concerning all he has inquired about, but is also anxious to know about what he has not been able to inquire. Factually, it is not possible for a man to inquire about everything from the spiritual master, but the bona fide spiritual master is able to enlighten the disciple in every way for the disciples' benefit. So this is what is happening between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. That Parikshit Prabhupada says that a disciple should be always eager to inquire from the spiritual master about the subject matter of Lord Krishna, because spiritual master is always eager to impart knowledge to the disciple. When we display our eagerness, the spiritual master will start imparting that knowledge. So in that way.
Hare Krishna.
हाँ Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, 21 questions altogether.
Hmm.
I mean, is it like generally he used to ask 6 questions, then he answers something, or 4 questions, and in between also in most of the cantos he asks 1 question, 2 questions, but 21 questions together. Is it like he's setting the stage, or is it like that is how the conversations were done? And also one question is that most of the verses have tattvataha, in truth. So is that a Sanskrit way of communication, or is it like there is another way of telling it also? Matlab, tattvata, when you are inquiring something, generally you require truth only. So is it just a phrase to add in Sanskrit, or is it like, does it have a connotation?
Not a phrase, but it is indicating the eagerness of Parikshit Maharaj to hear about them in complete detail. Sometimes Tatvata also indicates, don't give the answer superficially, but get into details. Though it is very long, still no problem. I want to understand in detail. I want to understand it correctly. I want to understand in truth. So it is in a way expressing his eagerness to hear in detail.
Got it, Prabhu. And 21 questions is like, it's like, I feel
22 questions.
22 questions. Suddenly, all of it all together. I know it shows the greatness of the seeker and also the greatness of the speaker. My confusion is that why suddenly so many questions together?
So this I don't know, nowhere mentioned by any other acharyas or Parikshit Prabhupada in the commentary. In our book, the journey, Bhagavatam, the speaker journey. So while discussing this canto, this chapter, I mentioned in the note saying that, so Parikshit Maharaj, he requested Sukadeva Goswami to speak. So first he asked a question at the end of first canto. He answered in two and a half chapters till the beginning of the third chapter, till the 12th verse of the third chapter. Then he asked one more question about the creation of this world. He spoke in 3 chapters. Chapter 5, 6, 7. Of course, 4 in the 4 he offered prayers, 5, 6, 7 he stopped. Because Sukadeva Goswami was known that he does not stay with the householders for a long time. Sago dohana matrami gruheshu gruhamedinam avakshati mahabaho tirthukurvam tadashrayam. So he stays with the householders only for the time required to milk the 2 nipples of a cow. So Parikshit Maharaj is in dilemma that whether he is eager to leave immediately, answering all my questions. So with the intention to give a hint to Sukadeva Goswami that, so my dear Sukadeva Goswami, you have to stay for a long time. I have so many queries to ask. So these are all a big list of my queries. So please answer them in relaxed mode. Don't be in a hurry to leave.
Got it, Prabhu.
This could be one of the reasons.
Yeah.
Asking
Makes
so many
sense.
questions.
Here.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, these 21 question is actually the base for the rest of the Bhagavatam, like rest of the Bhagavatam is answering all these 21 questions?
Yes, yes. The rest of the Bhagavatam is answer to all these questions and also few more additional topics.
Okay. And
Hmm.
also like Narad Muni asked Brahmaji about the creation, and this is the detailed questions regarding the creation, is it not? Or there's
Yes.
like much difference between? Okay.
Lord Brahma described the process of creation very, I mean, in a very quickly answered all the questions of Narada Muni. It was not a detailed discussion. In the third canto, we will
Okay.
discuss the same creation, but with many more details.
Okay.
So, in that way.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Lord Brahma's discussion was fast forward discussion. That was very quick. So now he is asking various questions to know them in detail.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Atra
Thank you.
praman, sorry. Atra pramanam hi bhavan parameshti yatatmabhu apare chanutishtanti purvesham purvajay krutam.
O great sage, you are as good as Brahma, the original living being. Others follow custom only, as followed by the philosophical speculators.
Says that Atra pramanam hi bhavan parameshti yatatmabhu. Sukadeva Goswami might ask in return, hey, why you are asking so many questions? I don't know answer to all these things. So before he asked that question, Parikshit Maharaj saying that, no, my dear Sukadeva Goswami, you know everything because Parameshti yatatmabu. Atra pramanam hi bhavan parameshti yatatmabu. You are just like Brahma, who was directly born from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was directly enlightened by Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Same way, you are also enlightened by your father, Vyasadeva, who was also an incarnation of that Supreme Lord. Apare chanutishtanti purvesham purva jair kritam. And all other gurus in this world, they are all born after Brahma and they are all learned as per their own endeavors, as per their ability to understand the subject matter. Their understanding is limited, but your understanding is complete like that of Lord Brahma. So you can answer all my questions in truth, in Tatvataha. This is another way of inspiring Sukadeva Goswami and instilling confidence in him, or instilling in him the faith that Parikshit Maharaj has upon Sukadeva Goswami, so that Sukadeva Goswami can speak continuously without any inhibition. That was the intention. And Sukadeva Goswami may ask a question. My dear Parikshit, you are asking me to speak for 7 days continuously. You might feel hungry, you might feel thirsty. Please take a break and have some palahar or some water. Then Parikshit Maharaj replies, Name asafa parayanti brahman anasanadami pibato achyuta piyusham tadvakyabdi vinushrutam.
O learned Brahmana, because of my drinking the nectar of the message of the infallible personality of Godhead, which is flowing down from the ocean of your speeches, I do not feel any sort of exhaustion due to my fasting.
They said that Name asava parayanti brahman anasanadami pibato achyuta piyusham. Since I am drinking the nectar of Krishna Katha, Achyuta Piyusham, being spoken by you, my life affairs are not getting disturbed. So my life affairs are nourished by Krishna Katha spoken by you. I am not feeling hunger or thirst. Anashanad Ami. I am not Anashanad Abhi. Basically, I am not feeling hunger or thirst by hearing Krishna Katha flowing from your lotus lips. So my pranas are sustained by that nectarian Krishna Katha. Tad Vyakyalibdi Vakyabdi Vinishrutam. Otherwise, after 7 days, being bitten by the snake sent by Shringi, I will be bereft of my prana. I will be bereft of my body. I will not be able to hear anything. So before that unfortunate moment comes, may you continue to speak Krishna Katha. Don't worry about my hunger and thirst. Please speak about Krishna Katha without any interruption. So this is the final inspiration call, final way of inspiring him about his eagerness to hear Krishna Katha continuously for the next 7 days. So this is how Parikshit Maharaj inspired Sukadeva Goswami to speak Krishna Katha. And from the next chapter, Sukadeva Goswami repeats. Here it says, the Prabhupada says that Maharaj Parikshit was not at all afraid of death, for he was fully encouraged by the message of the Lord. One who is fully absorbed in Achyuta Katha can never be afraid of anything in this world. So this is what is indicated. So he is not at all interested in about snake bite, but he is interested in Krishna Katha till the snake bite happens. So that is the eagerness of Parikshit Maharaj. So now, Suta Goswami says what happened afterwards. Suta Uvacha Sa Upamantrito Rajna Katayamiti Satpate Brahmarato Brusham Prito Vishnurate Samshadi.
Suta Goswami said, thus Sukadeva Goswami, being invited by Maharaja Parikshit to speak on topics of Lord Krishna with devotees, was very much pleased.
So here two words are used. Vishnurata refers to Parikshit Maharaj because he was saved by Lord Vishnu. That is, Lord Krishna entered the womb of Uttara and assumed the 400 Vishnu form. And Brahmarata is our Sukadeva Goswami, who was not coming out of the womb only for 13 years. So because he was completely immersed in Brahman, he thought that if I come out, I will be affected by Maya. So then Lord Krishna came to the Badrika Ashram and he gave assurance to Sukadeva Goswami, please come out, Maya will not touch you. Then he came out because he was completely immersed in Brahman at the time of birth. He was called Brahmarata. He saw Lord Krishna as Brahman at that time. That's how he is called as Brahmarata, being protected by Brahman. So the absolute, that's the supreme absolute truth. So Sa Upamantito Rajna Katayam iti Satpate Brusham Prito. So Sukadeva Goswami became very much pleased, being requested by Parikshit Maharaj to describe the Krishna Katha continuously for the next 7 days. So this verse explains about the pleasure of Sukadeva Goswami. Praha Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam Brahmakalpa Upagate.
He began to reply to the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit by saying that the science of the personality of Godhead was spoken first by the Lord himself to Brahma when he was first born. Srimad Bhagavatam is the supplementary Vedic literature and it is just in pursuance of the Vedas.
Yeah, he says that Praha Bhagavatam Nama. He spoke the scripture called as Bhagavatam, which is a Purana, Brahma Samhitam, which is nothing but the Supreme Lord. Which is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam, which the Supreme Lord Vishnu spoke to Brahma, Lord Brahma, when Brahma Kalpa Ubhagata, at the beginning of the Brahma Kalpa. Brahma Kalpa is the very first day of the entire lifetime of Brahma, when he was actually born about 50 years back. Currently, the day in the 51st year, in the first month is going on.